Dear friends, today I want to talk to you about something crucial that concerns our present and our future. What I'm about to share with you might change your perspective on the world around us. Are you ready to open your eyes to a reality that you may have always suspected but never dared to face? Imagine waking up one morning to find that the world as you knew it no longer exists. I'm not talking about science fiction, but biblical prophecies that seem to be materializing before our eyes. The book of Revelation, that mysterious and often misunderstood text, is coming to life in our time. And the message I bring today is urgent. The fourth seal has been opened. But what does all this mean? Why should we care? My friends, we are living in extraordinary times, times prophesied millennia ago. The first four seals of Revelation, known as the four horsemen, are no longer just symbols in an ancient book. They are realities manifesting in our world, bringing with them consequences we cannot ignore. The first horseman, on a white horse, represents conquest. Look around, don't we see nations trying to dominate other nations, not only through military force but also through economy and technology? The second horseman, on a red horse, symbolizes war. And who can deny that we live in an era of continuous conflict, where peace seems an ever more distant mirage? The third horseman, on a black horse, brings famine. While some of us live in abundance, millions of people around the world suffer from hunger. Economic inequalities have never been more apparent. And finally, the fourth horseman, on a pale horse, represents death. Pandemics, natural disasters, widespread violence, death seems to ride faster than ever. But do not despair, dear friends. Because in the midst of this apocalyptic scenario, there is a light of hope. A voice that guides us, consoles us, and urges us to prepare. This voice is that of Our Lady of Sorrows, who in a vision received by Amparo Cuevas in Spain, warns and invites us to penance. The Virgin Mary, in her infinite mercy, tells us that the fourth seal has already been opened. But she does not do this to scare us. She does this to prepare us, to give us the opportunity to change course before it's too late. She invites us to return to God, to rediscover the faith and love that seem lost in the chaos of the modern world. Let us pause for a moment and reflect. How many times have we taken our faith for granted? How many times have we postponed that moment of prayer, thinking we had more important things to do? The Virgin reminds us that nothing is more important than our soul, our relationship with God. At this moment, I invite you to join me in a prayer. Let us close our eyes and open our hearts. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. If this prayer has touched your heart, I invite you to comment with Amen. Let the world know that we are not alone in this spiritual battle. But prayer is just the beginning. The Virgin Mary asks us to do more. She invites us to intense and constant spiritual preparation. Every day should be an opportunity to draw closer to God. Daily prayer, participation in the Eucharist, and devotion to the Blessed Sacrament, these are not optional, my friends. They are spiritual weapons that protect us from the foreseen calamities. Think of the Rosary as a spiritual shield. Every Hail Mary is like a link in a chain that connects us to heaven, protecting us from temptations and dangers in the world. And visiting the Blessed Sacrament? It's like recharging our spiritual batteries, drawing directly from the source of divine love. But be careful, faith without works is dead. It's not enough to pray if we do not put Christ's teachings into practice in our daily lives. Loving our neighbor, forgiving those who have wronged us, being honest in everything we do, these are the fruits of authentic faith. Perhaps you're wondering, but why does God allow all of this? Why doesn't He intervene to stop these catastrophes? My friends, God respects our freedom. He created us free to choose between good and evil. And these trials, painful as they are opportunities to demonstrate our faithfulness, to purify our faith. Imagine a farmer pruning a vine. At first glance, it might seem like he is damaging the plant. But in reality, he's cutting away dead branches to allow the vine to produce better fruit. In the same way, these trials may seem cruel, but they are opportunities for us to grow spiritually, to become stronger in faith. Let's not be deceived by appearances. The world bombards us with messages that pull us away from God. The culture of consumerism, selfishness, and instant gratification, These are all temptations that distract us from our true spiritual nature. But now, more than ever, it's time to awaken, to open our eyes to the spiritual reality around us. The Virgin Mary promises us special protection in these difficult times. But this protection is not automatic. It requires our commitment, our dedication. Every rosary prayed, every visit to the Blessed Sacrament, every act of charity toward others, these are all steps toward that divine protection. Think of this protection as a spiritual umbrella. In a storm, an umbrella protects us only if we open it and hold it firmly. Similarly, divine protection is effective only if we open our hearts to God's grace and remain firm in faith. But we are not alone in this spiritual battle. The community of believers is our strength. United in prayer and fraternal love, we can face any trial. That's why it's so important to share this message, to invite others to join us in prayer and faith. My friends, time is running out. We can no longer afford the luxury of spiritual indifference or procrastination. Every day that passes without drawing closer to God is a missed opportunity. But do not despair. It's never too late to return to the right path. Imagine being on a ship in the middle of a storm. The captain warns you that you're heading toward dangerous waters. Would you ignore the warning and continue as if nothing were wrong? Or would you take the warning seriously and prepare for the storm? That's exactly what the Virgin is doing with us. She is warning us, giving us the chance to prepare spiritually. But how can we prepare concretely? Start with small things. Dedicate a moment each day to prayer, even just a few minutes. Read the scriptures, meditate on the life of Jesus. Attend Mass not only on Sundays but whenever you can during the week. And above all, put Christian love into practice in your daily life. Remember, faith is not insurance against life's difficulties, but it is the strength that allows us to face them with hope and courage. When the trials come, and they will, we will not be alone. We will have God by our side, and that is the greatest consolation. Don't let fear paralyze you. Fear is the enemy's tool to distance us from God. Instead, let God's love fill your heart. A heart full of love has no room for fear. My friends, we are at a crossroads in history. The choices we make today will determine not only our future but also that of future generations. We can choose to ignore the warnings and continue on the path of spiritual indifference. Or we can choose to respond to the Virgin's call, prepare ourselves spiritually, and become beacons of hope in an increasingly dark world. The choice is ours, and the time to choose is now. Before concluding, I would like to invite you to stay connected with us to receive more reflections and spiritual guidance. Subscribe to our YouTube channel name, where we regularly share messages of hope and spiritual instruction. Don't miss the opportunity to be part of this growing faith community. Remember, my friends, faith moves mountains. And together, with God's grace and the intercession of the Virgin Mary, we can overcome any trial. May the peace of Christ be with all of you.